Hello, and welcome to our podcast series, Let's Connect, where we dive into vital topics of rural development and sustainability. Today, we are joined by Ms. Indu Verma, a senior program lead of Transform Lives program at SM Sehgal Foundation. She is a postgraduate in psychology and social work with an advanced diploma in child guidance and counseling. With an expertise in mental health, life skill education, and gender issues, she has over 15 years of experience working with children, youth, and women from diverse backgrounds. Welcome, Ms. Indu. Thank you for joining us. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me, Priya.
So, to kick things off, could you share a little bit about your background and your experience in working with children, especially in the rural setting?
Well, coming to the rural settings, I'm very well reminded of a quote from Albert Einstein. He said that I have no special talents, I'm just passionately curious. So, that is one thing that I've always found in our rural children, that they are very keen learners. You know, uh, क्या है कि ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में हमारे पास उतनी फैसिलिटीज़ की अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है. So whenever I have visited any of the villages and have interacted with the kids there, they are just so curious to learn and to gain whatever information and knowledge that they can from us. And that is very, very energizing as an experience for me also. So I guess that's one element which I would say is very identifiable with the rural children about their keenness to learn and to aspire and learn more things.
As opposed to what people usually assume that kids in the rural area are comparatively shy.
Yes, I mean, like they have a lot of questioning, and they're very involved in whatever we are sharing with them, especially when you talked about the life skills awareness session. So you talk about diverse topics around teamwork, communication, decision making, which are very new to them. Maybe, I mean, if you compare it with the urban settings, the kids out here have a lot of accessibility to much knowledge, much information.
Right.
But in rural areas, as these are very new elements for them, so they really look forward to these classes and sessions. And especially like at Sehgal Foundation, we also have a life skills awareness program where we talk about and teach them about computers. And it's very delightful to see the way they engage with the whole teaching learning process out there.
All right, so we know that India has produced renowned IT professionals and researchers. Yet, why do you think access to quality education in rural areas remains limited? What factors do you think contribute to this gap?
So one are the socio-economic factors. So we know about the gender discrimination, which unfortunately still exists, the biases. So a lot of girls, either they're not enrolled in schools or they drop out much earlier before completing their schooling. They get early marriage happens, or they are burdened with household chores and responsibilities. Then poverty is another driving force,
Right, of course. Yeah.
because whenever they have to work in the field, the kids need to miss the school to be in the field in order to kind of help the parents with the produce and to get money for the family. I think alongside that, geographical terrain is also a challenge, because we know that there are villages which are located remotely, especially when they get into the middle school or the higher school. To gain education, they need to travel long distances. So that becomes a hindrance.
So, but like in my experience, in areas where, completely remote areas,
Mhm.
children are traveling from far because there's only one school in
One
the
school,
area.
right.
Right, as compared to in urban setting, after every like 5 kilometers there's one school available there.
True.
But that is something that is not possible in the rural
In the rural
setting.
setup, yeah. And that's why the NEP now talks about kind of bridging the digital divide,
Right.
and digital transformation. So using this new age technology, we will be able to reach out to many more children where they don't have to have a physical access to school in order to get education.
Right.
And in the same way, like we have digital library in schools that are being working in collaboration with Sehgal Foundation, and we see that they have all the online content available to them, which is very easily accessible for them. So even if, although nothing can compare or replace a teacher, learning model, but still, I mean, like it's at least the kids are able to get information and education through this digital medium.
We know that government has taken various initiatives like scholarships, providing subsidies to make accessing education easier in rural areas, especially for a girl child.
Right.
Why do you think the results are not yielding, and what are the expected outcomes?
Yeah, very good question, Priya. So, one is, of course, the schemes are there, but are people actually aware of the schemes? And are they aware of the processes of availing those schemes? No, so that knowledge and that information has to go down to the last mile. The other thing also is that, in today's education and job market are very different. So we are still focused on our traditional, conventional school book education. Whereas if we see the job market and the employability market has changed drastically. और कहीं ना कहीं हमारा एजुकेशन का जो एक मेन एम है वो है लाइवलीहुड क्रिएशन and also to make people employable so that they are able to earn money for themselves, the family, and of course contribute to the GDP. So that gap needs to be filled. Again, I'll just take a reference to the NEP 2020. It's kind of making a fluid integration between our vocational stream and the earlier academic streams. So that is a very good step in this regard. And that is something we are also doing at Segal Foundation. We are kind of training our students in computers, in the new age technology, which will finally also help them to be employable and get jobs later on.
Do you think these are simply due to lack of the facilities that are available, or there are any deeper barriers at play? So, like how important do you think is infrastructure, or how important do you think is the digital accessibility, or creation of a more conducive environment, availability of basic needs like drinking water, sanitation?
Yes, so of course, infrastructure is one major factor. A lack of a safe and secure learning environment is something which will deter children or parents to send their children to school, because any parent would want their child to be in a safe and a secure place. And also, I mean, like apart from the secure place, the sanitation and drinking water, these are the basic facilities जो हमें स्कूल में कम्युनिटी में it needs to be provided for. Alongside that, we also know that there are certain social belief systems. Suppose like still the girls are not in their education is not invested in, because they feel that girls, if हम लड़की को पढ़ाएंगे तो we won't get the returns. So then of course we see lesser enrollment of girls in the school. Also, not being a very inviting learning environment at many school places, so that also kind of discourages children from going to school. Then there are, like we talked about, because mostly our rural population is still agriculture based, so they have those seasons where they need more helping hands in order to kind of work for their livelihood, and the field work and all that, the farmland work that needs to be done. तो बहुत से बच्चे उस समय में भी अपना स्कूल मिस करते हैं, and then finally they drop out because they have already missed a substantial part of their schooling. So they may drop out at around 6th class or 8th class. And that is why also the government has started these schemes and scholarships, the midday meal, so that the children are retained in school, so at least they complete their basic schooling out there in the school. And we have seen, like again, like taking examples from the schools where Segal Foundation has been working. So the moment we changed the infrastructure, we created a like building as a learning aid, the Bala concept, and we provided for separate toilets and sanitation washrooms for girls. So we saw a marked improvement in the enrollment and also retention of the students in the school. So a school should be a place where a child feels a sense of pride in coming to. So all of these factors combine, and then of course the parents' attitude also change.
So, circling back to the infrastructure part, why do you think that our previous generations were able to study under a tree, right? I know there's a generational gap, but today the education is highly dependent on the modern infrastructure and availability. I mean, how much of a role infrastructure plays?
One, of course, is safety. First, I would say that safety is of prime importance. So having a boundary wall, having a closed space where they know that the children are going to be here for a certain amount of time is very important. The second thing also is that now the education has itself changed. Having computer knowledge and being trained and kind of being prepared for the new age careers, which is more or less related much to our artificial intelligence and computers. For that we need an infrastructure. The second, education should not only be restricted to the academic learning, it is about holistic development of a child. So sports, dance, music, all these are also education. But for that also you need spaces, or for any other creative abilities also, aspects also.
To follow a fivefold education.
Exactly.
Right.
So for that, the infrastructure there again becomes and plays a very crucial role for them.
So we can say that a good mix of traditional way of getting education and the modern requirement would actually help in complete holistic development of a child.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
All right. When we were talking about, you mentioned that a lot of kids in the rural settings, often they have to take a break, they have to go and help their parents in the field, right? What do you think it plays a role in motivating the children to pursue education or to continue education?
Yes, so of course the parental expectations plays a very significant role in deciding career choices also. Apart from our overall upbringing and the kind of values and traditions that we follow, so it's all intergenerational. Similarly, with regards to the careers and jobs also, a lot of parents want their children to get into a government job, no? Become a teacher, get into army, get into police force. However, many a times why we make a career choice is because we are also not aware of other options available. So here, the things that we could introduce and we have introduced is about career guidance. So where we kind of work with children and we help them to assess and self reflect on their own skills, their own interest areas, so that they're able to make those career choices and choose those streams which is in tune to what is their aptitude. So cultural values and parental expectations, of course, they kind of their children at times are burdened also by that there's a family business, or they have to work in the farmland only because this is what we have been doing. But once they are given opportunity, and once they are kind of children given that option to explore and to know more, which we do through our career guidance sessions in our life skills awareness classes, then they are able to make certain informed decisions about their life.
So, quoting an example from 12th Fail, Mr. Manoj Kumar's friend, as it was portrayed in the movie, Preetam Pandey, although he attempted to
Right.
give the paper, right, and qualify for the exam, but eventually he realized that his calling was towards media. Even though he came from a comparatively secure economical background, right? So do you think that so like in urban, in urban areas, children are able to explore more career opportunities is because there is no economic barrier there compared to the children in the rural settings in India?
Mm, yeah, we can say that. That of course, lack of finances at times does kind of play a role in our choices in life. But when you talk about aspirations and dreams, so that I think doesn't see any of these economic barriers, or when you are passionate about something. Similarly, we have another example, Mary Kom. We all know about her,
Right.
that she came from a very small village from Manipur, and finally she brought glory to the whole nation through her passion and talent. So I think that is, of course, is there. But just to ignite that spark and just to help a child to know is where the role of career guidance comes in.
So recently, I read a report by the UDISC that mentioned that the dropout rate among girls was 3.3%. Why do you think that uh, there is so much gap? 3.3% for girls compared to 2.7% for boys. Is it only because of economic difficulties? If that would have been the case, the dropout percentage would have been somewhere similar.
तो अब होता क्या है कि फॉर गर्ल्स मोस्ट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स फैमिलीज फील कि शी विल गेट मैरिड ऑफ एंड शी विल मूव इनटू द अदर फैमिली. सो ठीक है, बेसिक एजुकेशन ले ली, थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ना लिखना सीख लिया, अब और ज़्यादा उसमें हम क्यों इन्वेस्ट करें? ऑल्दो देयर आर स्कीम्स, देयर आर scholarships, everything is available, but it is never given an importance.
So it's about the mindset.
Yeah, it's about the mindset. Na? With boys, even if they have to send them to a private school within the rural area also, or an English medium school, the parents would be willing to shell out the money and to invest in a boy's education.
Because they feel that ROI.
एग्जैक्टली है ना, लेटर ऑन वो कमाएंगे और हमारी देखभाल करेंगे, हमारे साथ रहेंगे करके. Then of course early marriages, that is still prevalent in our country, so that's another reason. Again, because there are not enough sanitation and facilities in the schools for the girls to feel safe and secure in coming to school, especially once they achieve their teenage years. No? So that is again another issue. And also the parents are concerned much about their safety and the travel. But the scenario is changing, of course, for sure. And once they also have some positive role models, when a girl child has gone out from the village and got an education, and she becomes a role model, then again the other parents are also kind of convinced, and they can kind of get the encouragement to send their girls also for future education.
Like for Mary Kom.
Like for Mary Kom, yeah.
Now, the 2030 vision that our esteemed Prime Minister and the government has laid down for us involves a lot of commitment towards collaborations and partnerships. What steps do you think organizations, both grassroots, can take to shift the mindset in communities? I once visited an ASHA worker in one of the villages in Nuh, Haryana, and they happened to mention that earlier when they were young, they witnessed in their family, they were two sisters and one brother, that let's suppose अगर उनके घर में आज 1 गिलास दूध है तो वो 1 गिलास दूध उनके भाई को मिलता था, because they said, because their mind was कि लड़कों को ज़्यादा फिजिकल काम करना पड़ता है, right? And then this is something that is embedded in their mind. So driving that change, what should be there so that there is, so that we reach equality or equity actually would be the right term.
So that's a very important point that you've brought in, because without, we are all interdependent on each other. So if we have to work in collaboration in order to bring a holistic and a long-standing change. So in terms of like taking the step, like of course like government, they help us in giving the schools that they have, because they have the most number of schools in any part of the country, and we with our own expertise, with our own knowledge and skills, we go there, we work with the community, we work with the school authorities, we work with children directly, like we provide them with the life skills awareness, because that's our skill set. Similarly, with the corporates, they provide us with helping us with building the infrastructure, providing us with the computers, and through that the children get their digital literacy. So I think it's all the parts which come together to make the puzzle complete. So I'm just reminded of one very example of one of the villages that we work in. It's Chapera, and there the girls were finding it difficult to come to the school. So the parents, the SMC, they got together and they arranged for a transport facility.
Oh,
Yeah, and the bus facility helped them to take girls to the school and take them back home.
they took the initiative of
Yes. Ensuring that the
ensuring
girls
that the
are
girls
getting
are
their
getting-
education.
Right, right. So it does not just say that we are helping them reach school. It is that we are giving them that sort of independence
Right,
to
right.
pursue their career and to not hold back. Right. All right. How would you say, like, what is the significance of understanding emotional quotient along with intelligence quotient?
So that's a very, very relevant point that you have brought up. So earlier I was working at an orphanage, and we had a girl who had been abused in multiple forms. And when she came to us, so talking about EQ, of course, she had very low self-esteem, and she was into a lot of guilt, and she had these emotional outbursts. As per her age, she was enrolled in grade 3. However, when coming to studies, she wasn't even able to kind of, read from 1 to 10. So after kind of the healing process started, we had our counseling sessions, and she was provided with the sense of safety and security. She felt protected. It took us almost a year of a journey to help her come at par to her grade level of kind of studies. Not even the grade level, a grade level a little lower than that, but a girl who was not able to read from 1 to 10, within a year she was able to do addition, simple addition and subtraction. So I guess this example really shows that how emotional healing and why emotional healing, the emotional aspects are so critical, so crucial for all other forms of our development, whether it's language, whether it's cognition, intelligence, and then of course all these are then related to our academic achievement also. I was recently reading that this student suicide is becoming an epidemic in India. So annually, it is rising at an alarming rate of 4%. One reason, and the most critical reason, is that there are emotional breakdowns that are happening, lack of support system, and the kind of the stress and the parental expectations that the young kids are carrying on themselves. So it's very important to build resilience. So when coming to kind of supporting emotional development and emotional aspects, so the first thing also is that do we have enough of self reflection? So again, here when we talk about the life skills awareness classes and our sessions, so there we talk about the self, about our own emotions, our feelings, what are the triggers, how can I better manage my anger, how can I do, deal with my stress. So all these become very, very critical component. And later on also, like as we grow in age and as we become adults, so working in teams becomes critical, taking decisions, getting into leadership roles. So it even feeds on to the later part of our life journey. It's important not only for them to have better academic performance, but to be happy individuals also.
So, what advice would you give to the parents to be able to cater to their kids' emotional and mental needs?
One is to have a lot of active listening. So today's, of course, with these gadgets and other things that we have, our mind is one very much distracted, and there is a lot of breakdown in communication within the family system also. So otherwise, mostly children, especially in the teenage years, they start distancing themselves from the parents, and the peers become more important. So जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि भाई आपके पेरेंट्स भी आपके फ्रेंड्स की तरह होने चाहिए हैं. So one is that, and also kind of giving the child the space to be able to make mistakes. We have also made mistakes in our life, so they are also kind of they will be making those mistakes, just standing by them as a support system, that we are here. Even if you fall down, we are here to help you out.
So, this has been quite an insightful discussion, Hindu, and I hope that our continuous efforts that organizations like Segal Foundation and other grassroots organizations and corporates are doing, and these conversations actually yield good results. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Priya.